Before I address this comment, I do just want to say absolutely zero hate to this creator who left this comment on the video about my mother and her reaction the day I left for college. But this is exactly why my mother was able to get away with abusing me for all those years. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about my mother being a covert narcissist. What do I mean by that? My senior year of high school, as I was preparing to go to college, things with my mother escalated to the point that by the time we got to like the end of the year and graduation, months before I went to college, I actually wasn't living with her. Other family members had to step in and intervene because things were getting so crazy that they were like, she can't live with you anymore. And my mom actually left the house and went and lived somewhere else by herself. And I did not live with her for the majority of my senior year. Now, despite things being so bad that family members were concerned for my physical safety, so they took me from my mother and made me come and live with them instead of her like getting the police called on her. Even though things were that bad, no one addressed what she was doing. No one tried to make her stop. They just took me out of the environment and, eventually put me back in it and right back into the mess. And my mother got away with it because of this. Anytime my mother was caught for her bad behavior, that whole senior year, the horrible things she did to me, the horrible things she said to me, some of which I don't even remember, she would say, it's just because I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I see her leaving and I just don't know how to deal with it. And the minute she would say that, people would go, oh, you're just a sad mommy. I'm so sorry. And people were more concerned about that and focusing on that and having sympathy for that than the child that was being abused and traumatized by her. And she knew that. That's why she used excuses like, oh, I'm just so sad that my child's leaving, every time she got backed into a corner. No, she wasn't sad. Sad is not what made her call me names, tell me I was going to be a failure, tell me that I was not her family anymore and I could go be happy with my new family, all because I went to a school that she didn't choose. That didn't come from sadness. That came from envy. That came from anger, that came from entitlement. She wasn't abusing me because she was sad. She didn't know how to communicate how sad she was. She was doing it to inflict harm on someone that she saw as inflicting harm on her because I was just living my life. All of this to say we have to be so careful when we're talking to A, survivors of toxic mothers like my mom, but B, when we're talking about the harmful behaviors of people in general. Because we're really fast to let them get away with excuses like this, right? With they just don't know how to communicate. Bullshit. Figure it out. Harmful people don't harm because they don't know how to communicate. They harm because they want to inflict that harm because they haven't dealt with their insecurities. They haven't dealt with their ego. They haven't dealt with their sense of entitlement, their envy, all of that stuff. So no, my mom didn't make my senior year a living hell. She didn't traumatize me on the day I left for college because she was sad that her daughter was leaving. She was angry that her daughter was leaving and she wanted to destroy me for it. Hope that helps.